Good morning. Chevy Boy 925 here. Unmotivated and unprepared, but we got to knock this out. So today what we're going to be doing is getting this stock 10 bolt out of here. The whole assembly, everything, get it out. Get the 14 bolt in here that's been built up. Got to get some brake lines on it, but other than that, it's complete. Swap over the parking brake cables as well. I got the stock shackle going back in. I got the stock front hanger back in. Gonna have to do the same on the other side. Get that leaf spring out. Install the cowl tracks on the leaf springs and get it all back in with a flip kit. So basically it's gonna go from a stock 10 bolt on a 4-inch drop shackle hanger in the rear to a 14 bolt with cowl tracks and a flip kit. So well, there wasn't much to film as it was pretty much already out. So I just got it out of the way. Now that that's all done, I decided next I'm going to show you guys the janky version to do this, but sometimes that's the easiest way to do it, especially when you don't have all the right stuff. So I do not have a press. My buddy has a press, but a lot of you guys watching may not have a press and want to do this yourself. So you know what I do? Very simple. I burn the rubber bushing out, or poly or whatever it is. I believe it's rubber. Burn that out. The rubber and the center sleeve will come out no problem, and all you have to do is you can use a chisel or a sawzall or whatever you want. Start bending these tabs and this will knock right out. So first of all, let it cook. So we're gonna let this thing cook while I get that 14 bolt wheeled over here. Multitask. And then we're gonna get this 14 bolts in here. Get it all lined up. Get the leaf springs under it. Get the cowl tracks bushings installed. Get this rear suspension done today. So we'll let that bushing get all crispy and burn out. And now we're gonna get this 14 bolt over here. Get the let's see. Get this 14 bolt over here. Get this front hanger tightened up. The rear shackle I'll install once the spring's up. Same thing on the other side. Let me click this up for you guys. Basically just getting the stock front hanger back on. You know, the rear hanger was existing. Get that all in, get everything lined up, and then we'll basically just be knocking out the rest of the bushing on the leaf springs, getting these cowl tracks installed. So we're back. Got that bushing out. Got my little knee pad. So basically what you got here is the OEM bushing is out, and then cowl tracks provides these aluminum bushings. And it comes with anti-seize or lubricant, I'm not exactly sure. Let's see, does it say? Yeah, it's high temp lubricant, kind of ceramic, something, whatever. That's what they want to use. But what I like to do is take some WD-40 or PB Blaster or whatever, get an old Scotch Brite, kind of get that in there. And I actually like to hit the inside of this, whether you press it out or whatever you did. But this one's old, rusty. I burnt it out. There's no material there. It was a sleeve, so wasn't really much to get in there, but it's just, if you get this thing halfway in and you can't get it out and you can't get it the rest of the way in, it's just not going to be for a fun time. So it only takes a second. Try to clean some of the contaminants out. And there you have it. Got that knocked in. And that's pretty much it for the leaf springs. So, this is where we have our bushing in. And then we want to get our Caltracs on there. And that's where this bushing goes right back in. There you go. Something like that. Something like that. Get her nice and flush. There she is. Then you get this brought up. So. Now, one thing I did forget when doing these, because it's been so long, you do have to cut or remove the overload leaf spring to fit the traction bar. It will fit if the suspension's all the way up, but when it's decompressed like this, it will hit and make it a pain in the butt. So cut it, remove it, whatever you want to do, but it's got to go. Cool. So here we are. Just to recap, we got the OEM bushing out of the leaf spring, got the aftermarket Caltracs bushing in, got the bracket sandwiched around the leaf spring, got the bolt running through loosely. We have the axle now sitting on top of the leaf spring as per flip kit. We have the stock shackle back in, obviously the stock front hanger back in. Still got to grab 2 bolts for that, but it's in. And then basically what's going to happen next is, here's part of the traction bar. This part is actually going to go underneath the leaf spring, running this to the front. Gets fresh U-bolts and bolts, or sorry, fresh U-bolts and nuts. And you can snug them up a little bit, but you do not tighten anything until the suspension is compressed. That's how you get squeaks and binding and all sorts of issues. But once all that's done, just got to repeat the process on the other side, and this thing's done. 14 bolt swap, Caltracs installation, and going from a 4-inch shackle hanger to a 6-inch flip. Not a bad deal at all. The only thing, like I said before, you got to cut the overload or completely remove it. In this sense, cutting it can be better if you still want to load the truck up. I don't think this one will be loaded, so if he wants to, we'll just completely remove it or go with a Caltracs monoleaf. But for now, quick and easy, cut the front. If you really, compress it, you still have the rear part. It's not too bad. And there you have it. Gonna stop for a quick little lunch break, but this side's done. Just gotta set her on the ground, get her tightened up, get her adjusted. The other side almost done. Just gotta get the lower plate on there with the U-bolts and get it all tightened up. Good to go. And then as far as the 14 bolt, it's 99% done. Obviously, got to hook up the drive shaft back up. And then I am going to swap over the brake lines because I guess this one got nicked. So I'm going to swap the brake lines and the e-brake cables over from the old 10 bolt. Call it a day. That'll be it. Then we'll move on to the fuel system.